Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katie in the Morning. I'm Katie Page, Director of Member Relations at the National Association of Healthcare Assistants. Here we are, face to face with December. We are in the last two or 3 days of November, and Christmas is right around the corner. With the holiday seasons coming, we tend to get a little busy with the hustle and bustle of not only in our personal life, but things that are going on in our centers and our employment settings as well. That is where the importance of communication comes in, not just internally, but with partnering agencies as well. What I'm talking about is like if you are a long-term care CNA and you have a resident on your hallway that's on hospice care, the communication between you and those hospice aides is critical. There is so many things that can happen in that time period where the hospice aide is coming in, caring for that resident, and leaving, and you're going in to care for that resident afterwards. That communication, like I said, is very, very crucial. I'll give you a worst case, not a worst case scenario, but a bad scenario example. So, say I'm trying to think of a hospice. Latoria Badgett, let's take one of our members from Mississippi. She's also a NACA ambassador. Is a hospice CNA. So say Latoria is coming into my facility and caring for one of the residents on my hallway, and she comes in, she does her cares. This person is repositioned every hour. I mean, the very last stages of life. Latoria comes in, repositions that person to the left side. And she comes out, talks, reports to the nurse, does her paperwork, and leaves. And then I lack communicating with not only her but my nurse. So directly after she leaves, I'm coming down my hallway like my morning regular routine, go into my resident's room, turn them to the other side. Now this resident has been on the same side for longer than they're supposed to be positioned there for. It's a simple scenario, but it's something that I think represents the importance of communication between partnering agencies, so to speak. Another one that's very important is like the physical therapy department. Some facilities have in-house physical therapists, restorative aides, physical therapy coordinators. Some don't. Some have physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech therapists that come in from hospitals just for a certain time frame and then go back to work. One of the things about communicating with them that is so important, not necessarily them, but you should be communicating this with at least with your charge nurse, if nobody else, is if somebody who has suffered a stroke is having a hard time verbalizing their wants and needs. If a resident is starting to kind of weaken in their gait, their walking gait, if their gait has changed at all, these are things that should be communicated to the physical therapist, occupational therapist, and speech therapist. The speech therapist in particular has a lot to do with the dietary orders. They're the ones that come in and do the swallowing evaluations and that sort of thing on residents who have specifically have suffered from a stroke or seizures or anything like that. Any type of special equipment comes from occupational therapy. So the communication there is very, very, very valuable too. But there are other associations that come in and assist with resident activities that could probably use a little bit of communication as well. Like for instance, there is the Red Hat Society. There is the high schools, middle schools, and grade schools that come in and do programs. There are, but by communicating to your charge nurse that you need to let them know this resident is combative or this resident is kind of a hermit, so to speak, and doesn't really want that extra engagement. Not only is it going to save them the hassle of going to people's rooms who don't want them there, but it's going to save kind of that stress and anxiety from the resident constantly having to tell people to, kind of the Grinch phrase here, get out of my room, like I don't want this, that sort of thing. So the communication there is very, very vital as well. So please just make sure that there is a clear communication plan in place with all of the outside associations that are coming in and helping in your care setting, whether you are in a hospital, assisted living, long-term care facility, or hospice care. I thank you guys all for joining me, and I will see you next time on Katie in the Morning.